It's my pleasure, Grant, to introduce you. If you were not people that weren't on the call at the very, very beginning, Grant and I have known each other for, I figured it out, almost 40 years. And so it's really fun to be able to introduce you and read to you. Members have learned this wonderful bio that he has over the years. So Grant Jones is the CEO of Metro Meals on Wheels, which serves all of Ada County, Emmett, Middleton, Marsing, and part of Caldwell. Prior to joining Metro, he served as the Director of Development for the Elks Rehab System. While serving in that role, the organization assumed responsibility for the Boise area Meals on Wheels program, and he was asked to manage what was branded as Elks Meals on Wheels. The volunteer department was also part of his team. Much of his career has been in public relations, manager of public relations for the American Automobile Association in Oklahoma and Idaho, manager of public relations for Micron Technology and Ore-Ida Foods in Boise, and general manager of worldwide communications for Ore-Ida's parent company, Heinz, in Pittsburgh. Grant has also volunteered and served on boards of several local organizations, including United Way, Boise Parks and Rec, Funzi Community Action Partnership Association of Idaho, Coal Valley Christian Schools, and Caring Foundation of Idaho and Utah. Whew. And here he is, my friend Grant Jones.
Thank you. Grant, do you want me to share your slides, Grant, or do you want to?
If you would, that would be wonderful.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mary. I was telling Mary when we first came on this morning, she truly looks the same as she did 40 years ago. She hasn't aged today, but I've more than made up for it. So there we are. So thank you so much for having me today. It's a pleasure to be here to talk about something I'm very passionate about. We can move to the next slide. I'm going to give you kind of a 101. I used to be a teacher way back. I didn't put that in the bio. So once a teacher, always a teacher. Maybe even a quiz. No, I really won't today. But I do like to have a kind of a 101, like a little syllabus here. So I will tell you that we are growing like crazy. Now that should be no surprise to anyone. With over 1,000 people a week moving here and a third of that growth being seniors, it's no surprise that we're growing. In fact, Meals on Wheels America says we're one of the fastest growing programs in the country. So when you see a meal count increase of 300 meals a day, and that's probably conservative actually, it is a challenge. It's a huge challenge. Not only are we stretched financially with volunteers, but I'm short-staffed. I'm just like everybody else in the food service industry. I can't get enough people. We're also dealing with just trying to increase and grow and move out of Ada County. We've been really Ada County centric. So we deliver meals, like Mary mentioned, every day throughout Ada County, but also Middleton, Emmett, and part of Caldwell. But we also serve senior centers in Boise, Meridian, Eagle, Star, Kuna, Marsing, and then it doesn't stop there. We deliver every day to an adult daycare for memory care folks, 2 retirement communities, and we just added another one. So my employees are not real happy. No, they're okay with me. But now we also deliver to an independent living facility, and we're being asked to do more. So not only are we challenged with all of those things, but inflation, so food costs, gas costs, supply costs, it's a challenge. So we receive funding through 3 major sources, and I'll kind of tell you that because I think that's important. So the first one, thankfully, we do receive funding. We get reimbursements for every meal that we deliver and serve, but it's nowhere near the cost of the meal. That comes through the Older Americans Act. So in 1972, March actually, so March is an important month to Meals on Wheels, President Nixon amended the Older Americans Act. That allowed really for funding for Meals on Wheels programs for senior nutrition. But again, it's only a little bit of the cost of the total meal. The folks that receive the meals don't have to pay if they meet the eligibility requirements, and I'll mention those in a minute, but they do donate some. So a third of them will donate a little bit, a third will donate the full suggested amount, and then a third don't donate anything. So you can kind of do the math. I have to raise the rest of it. So we have a $2 million a year budget, and I have to raise about a third of that. So we can go to the next slide. We always say that Meals on Wheels is more than a meal. So we mentioned, or you saw earlier, that 1 in 6 seniors is food insecure. That translates to over 56,000 Idaho seniors. But we like to say we have a solution to that food insecurity. We can provide food security to seniors. And so that's what we're really focusing on now, is providing that security, not worrying about the insecurity. So our goal is really to provide nutritious food. Of course, that's foremost, but there are other things too. So when we deliver meals to homebound seniors, that nutrition is very important. For many of them, that's the only nutritious meal that they'll eat that day. Rest of the time, they supplement their diet with microwave popcorn, toast, cold cereal, those easy kinds of things. But in addition to that nutritious food, they get to have someone checking in on them. It's a safety check. And I know I'm preaching to the choir. Most people think that, oh, there's somebody to check on a senior. Well, you all know that's not the case. Sometimes they don't have grown children at all. Sometimes they don't live here. Sometimes they do, and they choose not to take care of them. They don't have neighbors. So this volunteer, because we have over 400 volunteers, so the volunteer and that daily contact, that's so critical. We always say in some cases, it's more important than the food. So it's a safety check. During COVID, that changed a lot. We had to change our delivery model, but they still got to be checked on. Then when we have the congregate meals, the more mobile seniors come to the senior centers, once again, the food is important because for many of them, that's their main meal for the day. But most importantly, socialization. They get to sit around that table with a group of other people and have some contact, some conversation. They don't have to stay at home eating by themselves or just with their pets in front of the TV. During COVID, that was so critical. We had so many adverse effects from seniors not having socialization. The senior centers were closed. We offered curbside service, but that defeated the whole purpose of the congregate program of gathering and socializing. We have a group of men, I love to tell the story. We have a group of men at the Boise Senior Center that gather about every day. They solve the world's problems, and then they come back the next day and solve them all over again. And it's so fun to watch them because they're just characters, and they get into everything from politics to weather, you name it. Now they're really into the gas prices and all of those things. But it's so fun because they really, truly have an opportunity to come together and socialize. Otherwise, I'm not sure what they would do food-wise. So we always say, again, it's a proven solution to food security. And I think it's one of those things where if you look at statistics there, it is amazing how important the program really is to people, how they feel about their health, their safety, and their security. But I think most importantly, independence. Our tagline is serving independence. And by allowing seniors to remain in their own homes, they can remain independent. They get to stay where often they raise their kids, where they've lived for a long time, where they probably lost their spouse, and where they can have their pets. And their pets are their companions, their babies. That's really who they get up for every day. We just recently added a lady to our program who is 104. That's really no joke. She's 104. She's as sharp as a tack, and she lives alone, but she needed Meals on Wheels. And so we're so grateful to get to serve her. The next slide, please. So people always like to know, how does one become eligible for Meals on Wheels? So for the home delivered folks, the homebound folks, they have to be 60 years of age or older. They don't drive or don't live with someone that drives, or they're too frail to prepare meals. It could be a combination of those. But we do serve people under 60. Medicaid will take care of some folks, and actually Blue Cross will pay for some meals depending on if it's kind of a continuum of health or allowing the person to heal, recover. In some cases, it may be for a while or even for a long period of time. And then for the congregate folks, they just need to be 60 years of age. And if they're not, they have to pay for the meal. If the way it works is it's a suggested donation of $4 per meal. And again, of course, that's nowhere near the cost of the meal. But if they are under 60 at the senior center, they don't have to donate a thing, or over 60 rather. But if they're under, they do have to pay $6 a meal. I think it's interesting too, the way we look at things right now with our costs and all of those things. It is amazing how the program just continues to grow, but the costs continue to grow too, or increase too. And so we're always looking for folks to partner with us. We don't like just a one-time, one-hit wonder, so to speak. We love ongoing partnerships and collaborations, and we love to work with individuals, but also companies, service organizations. You name it, we're involved with so many different folks. And it's amazing because over 90% of the folks in America recognize the name Meals on Wheels. They may not know 100% what it is, but they know, at least they can kind of visualize, they can kind of picture what Meals on Wheels is all about. And so we do like to capitalize on that awareness and on the fact that all of us are aging. I always tell my employees, all of us are moving in the direction of needing Meals on Wheels. And we want to make sure that it is as good a program as it can possibly be at the highest level, because someday we may need it, our relatives may need it, and we want to make sure it's great. I always ask our employees, question yourself, would my grandfather like this meal? Would my grandmother be happy with this meal? And we just want to make sure that we're always the very best that we can be. We have a theme at Metro Meals on Wheels called Going Places Together. It's based on a children's book by the name Going Places. And it has to do with collaboration, working together, thinking outside the box, being creative, and then accomplishing and achieving something far greater than you might otherwise. And we take that very seriously. So we're always looking at ways to improve, always looking at ways to just make sure that we're as good as we can possibly be. The next slide, please. So every day we serve a hot meal. Once in a great while, especially in the summer, we may serve a cold meal, but typically it's a hot meal. It consists, it's in a compartment, container, kind of like what you see there. That's not our containers, but looks like it. Kind of like you would get a lean cuisine or something like that. And so we always have an entree meat, fish or chicken, then potato, brown rice or pasta, whole wheat pasta. Then we have a vegetable, and we always have some type of bread, whole grain bread. The folks receive milk and or juice. And then a lot of times we will have fruit, whether it's fresh or otherwise. We'll have a salad of some kind, very rarely dessert because of the sugar and also because of the cost. We add no sodium to anything. Some things are naturally salty, but all of our meals are low sodium because we don't add any salt, and very low sugar. But we also like to pride ourselves on being a little innovative. And this is one of the reasons why we have a really good reputation with Meals on Wheels America, because many people will do the rotation diet. So on the first Monday of the month, you get this. On the second Tuesday of the month, you get this. We don't do that. We change our menu around a lot. We're always adding new things. And every month, we will add a new menu item. And we promote that on the menu that they all receive, on our website and other places, kind of like a burst at a restaurant. And we always try to come up with something a little different. So this month, it's vegetarian orzo casserole. And it just changes. And then we do a survey, and we ask all of our folks to give us their honest opinion. Do you want that menu item again sometime? Would you like to never see it again? And that's very helpful to us in planning our menus and trying to be creative and trying to be a little different. We tried to adopt a little bit of the MIND diet, and some of you may be aware of that. It's scientifically and medically proven to help stave off dementia. and to help with memory care issues. We have tried to do that very cautiously because seniors don't like change. And if, you're telling them it's something, Mediterranean diet or good for them, they may not like it. So we try to be very kind of behind the scenes on that. But we've added more nuts and berries and vegetables and fish and things that we've already served, but we try to do a little bit more and to be creative. So we have registered dietitians that help us all the time, and they're really helpful in making sure that we are incorporating a little bit of that mind diet, because we all know that dementia is such a major issue with seniors. And if we can do something, even if it's a little bit, to maybe help with that, we feel good about that. So our employees have really embraced that, and we're always looking for menus and suggestions to how to incorporate that mind diet a little bit more. We've tried to introduce ethnic foods. So I grew up in Ethiopia, and there is a company here in town, or here in the local area, a teff. They grow teff, which is an Ethiopian grain. So if you go to Kibroms in Boise, or you go to other Ethiopian restaurants across the country, they serve maskel teff from here, the teff company in Caldwell. So we have worked with them, and we have incorporated teff, which is very healthy and gluten-free, into some of our menus. And we promote that with information. And at the senior centers, we kind of do a fun thing with the map of Ethiopia. And what's really interesting in Ethiopia, there's no such thing really as food insecurity among seniors. Seniors are revered in Ethiopia. And so they're the most food secure people of all of the people in Ethiopia, because seniors eat first. And whatever is left, then others get it. So they don't have to worry about food insecurity in Ethiopia. All the seniors are food secure. But we've had fun incorporating different things. It's funny because after that, a lot of our congregate, after we did the teff, we did it in both. We did the seeds in a salad, on a salad, and grain in a dessert and a cobbler. We had a lot of our folks at the congregate sites going to Trader Joe's and Whole Foods and other co-op and other places to buy teff. So we've had a lot of fun with that. One of the most exciting things that we do, I think, is our partnership with the Idaho Humane Society. As I alluded to earlier, a lot of the seniors, the pets are their babies. And so we found out when we took over the program a very disturbing thing. We found that a lot of our seniors were giving part of their meal each day to their pet. Well, that concerned us because it's defeating the whole purpose of nutrition for the senior, and that food isn't good necessarily for the pets. So we partner now with the Idaho Humane Society. We're so grateful to them. We survey our folks once every couple of months to see what their needs are for dog and cat food. And then, because their volunteers are background checked like ours, they will actually then deliver the food, a quantity of food, to our seniors. So our seniors, many of them are seniors that our volunteers a lot of them are seniors themselves. So it was very difficult for them to take big quantities of food. It delays their delivery, and we have kind of a timeline of delivering meals. And so that was difficult, and we didn't want to cross-contaminate pet and human food. So now they take that food, the seniors can eat their entire meal, and then the pets get their kind of food. So that's a great partnership. And then just a couple more things really quick. We are in the process of looking at building a central facility in Ada County. And one of the things we want to do is expand our ability to do gluten-free meals, vegetarian meals, diabetic meals, a lot of things that we don't have the bandwidth to do right now. But we also want to open a cafe that we would serve what we're serving to our seniors. Folks could come in at a low price and buy that, but it's also a great place to focus and capitalize on what we're doing. If we need volunteers, if we have a fundraising event, whatever the case may be, to kind of showcase what we're doing. And then we'll open up in that a social enterprise component, which will help us with sustainable revenue. And then last but not least, as I close today, I want to just share, and there is a slide, it may be there, but if not, it's in your resource section. I know Mary had mentioned There it is right there. Thank you. March for Meals. So we have the largest March event in the country for Meals on Wheels. Every year since we started, we said we were going to go big or go home. And so we started out the very first year saying we wanted the largest one in the country. And we did, with over 800 people 2 years ago before COVID. We continued that and we had over 1,200 people. So on March 26th, which is a Saturday, I encourage all of you to come out, bring your friends, your neighbors, everybody you can think of. You don't pay a dime to be a part of it. You don't register. You don't pay an entry fee. You don't have to bother your neighbors and friends and family for pledges. You just come out at between 10 and 10:30 on that day. And then at 10:30, we take a really grueling third of a mile walk around Kleiner Park. People can come in wheelchairs with walkers. Kids can come in strollers. We do that intentionally, make it very short, very easy to participate. You only give up about a half an hour of your Saturday. And we have organizations that donate money to us for every marcher. So it's just a fun way to come out. Again, I mentioned March is an important month for Meals on Wheels. And we want to have the largest march again in the country. We haven't been able to do it for 2 years because of crazy COVID. So we want to make sure that we don't let down our guard, and we don't want to have Meals on Wheels America mad at us because we didn't continue to have the biggest one. So come out March 26th, and we'd love to have you there. And I just thank you so much for letting us come or letting me come today and talk a little bit about Metro Meals on Wheels.